Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on today's episode of 20 Somethings. I'm Tico,
And I'm Zoe.
and we're just a couple of 20 somethings trying to live that quiet luxury life with the budget of a loud bargain bin. So, today we're going to be talking about money, how to make it, how to spend it, and how to survive without it when you're 20 something.
Mm,
I know it's crazy. Like being an adult in this economy is a financial circus, and we're all the clowns. Am I right? So,
it's ruining me right now. I
really,
promise me.
I hate it. And like the reason I wanted to talk about today's topic is because for me, I'm someone who's always stressed out about money. I'm never not thinking about money. Every decision I've ever made in my adult life was in response to feeling like I never had enough money or trying to figure out how to make money. And it's just crazy because you kind of feel like you have to make some very difficult choices to make
You
money.
do.
Doing things that probably, I don't know, like not necessarily doing something strange for some change, but if it has happened, who are we to judge? It's just, doing,
Well,
we listen and we don't judge. So, but continue what we're gonna say.
I will say recently a man did offer me 300,000 to have sex with him.
You're joking, and you agreed, I'm sure.
I am still thinking about it.
Listen to me. Don't be silly. We're going to do what we have to do. You
Oh
know?
my God.
Listen, listen. Before this, before we continue with this conversation, we'd just like to make a disclaimer, of course, that Zoe and I, neither of us are financial advisors, so we can't be held liable or responsible for any business decisions you happen to make after this episode. So we're just putting that out there. Anyway, we listen and we don't judge. And
I'm
honestly,
still thinking about it. I'm not saying I'm gonna do it. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it.
mhm,
But 300,000 would be really
it's
great
a
right now.
lot of money, if I'm being honest. And you'll be surprised that people would do it for free. People would do it for free, so might as well. Might as well.
You're right.
I think, it's a good idea. Well, at the end of the day, it's up to you. I can't tell you what to do.
It's not necessarily a great idea because
It's not a bad idea, actually. Work is work.
dignity, we got
I know.
dignity on the line
But here's the thing.
there
It's
sitting.
like speaking about what we were talking about earlier about doing things that we don't necessarily want to do in the name of survival, like, just
Yeah.
working, at these chicken
I don't
shit
want to work
jobs.
either.
Not real, real.
I
But I
really
mean,
don't want to work. I want to be a stay-at-home wife
real.
and just stay home. I don't even want kids anymore. I
You don't?
promise you. I changed my mind because
Wow.
kids are so expensive and I
They
have
really
to
are.
prioritize my children over myself. And I'm not willing to put myself in that position anymore
I
because I
agree.
always prioritize people over myself. And I'm going to do it with my kids, not going to work with me.
Yeah.
Promise.
Especially right now when like, birth control is being like taken away from so many women and
Oh,
families. It's scary. It's a very scary time, and like to bring a child into this world where things are so chaotic culturally and socially and
oh my God.
politically, like it does feel irresponsible. And it's
Oh,
funny, I've not irresponsible to bring a kid into the world, and
it most definitely is.
yeah. And I've always said to myself, like, I too want kids at some point, but I've always said that, like, it's not fair to bring a child into this world unless you're in a position to take care of them until their final year of college. Like, even if they decide not to go to college, the option should be available to them where they don't have to financially struggle or want for anything. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
it's not to say that poor people shouldn't have kids. That's not what I'm saying. But we have to be cognizant of the reality we're living in, where it takes money to raise a child. You know what I mean? Um,
my thought
mhm,
is with kids, right? You don't have to only take care of them from they're young till they're 18. You have to be able to assist that child throughout its entire life,
exactly, exactly. And
right? Like, even if they're 40 something, you're still their parent.
agreed, agreed. And
Like, let's
before,
say, go ahead.
no, continue. Sorry.
Let's say you have a drug addict child.
Mm-hmm.
Not well, pulling that down on anybody. But
Right.
like that child is going to still need help from their parents. They're
Agreed.
addicted to drugs, they can't get off the drugs. Like they're still gonna need financial help.
Exactly. Exactly. And you have to
So
think about like the rehab and how much money that's
yeah.
gonna cost and
Mm-hmm.
getting them back
So
into society after they've gone through that program. Like it's
yeah,
a lot to take into consideration for sure.
it is too much,
Right.
actually.
But yeah, it's just crazy how as young adults we're always having to make like difficult decisions because our parents probably didn't prepare us for,
Mm,
adulthood. Like maybe not all of us, grew up with like a trust fund, or,
mm,
a
that
million
was
dollar loan to make it out into the world. Some of us came from like um lower income backgrounds,
mhm.
lower middle class backgrounds, and we had to like
Make
um
our way to where we
make
are
our
right now.
exactly. And not many of us had parents who were probably like financially literate or had the
Mm,
insight to like perhaps start saving or
investing.
investing when we're
Yeah.
little. Um,
Um, Hear me out.
mhm,
I know that I was born to be wealthy,
real.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I know it in the way I spend money, in
Mm,
the way that I talk about money,
mm-hmm.
in the way that I see certain things. Because
Love that.
I love cars. I love cars so much. I
Mm-hmm.
love seeing really nice houses. And I
Mm-hmm.
just imagine myself in those places. And I'm like, there is where I'm supposed to be.
Just manifesting it.
Listen, it's either I'm going to marry rich.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you. I
No,
promise you.
and honestly, I see that for you, to be honest, because it's like you've
I
always
see it
carried yourself with
myself.
such poise, and like I love the way that you dress. It's like so
Thank you.
bougie and like old money vibes. Like, is it?
Listen.
And it's inspirational for me. And I don't know, it's difficult because like for me, I am someone
Mhm.
who believes in the idea of like 50-50 and meeting each other halfway and
Absolutely not.
having you're
Absolutely
like
not.
you're like no. It's like, like I don't know. Like I don't want to feel like I'm using someone when
No. Hear
it's
me. It's not using someone.
right.
In my spectrum of what a relationship is, a man provides, protects, and professes love for a woman.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
As a man, you are supposed to be a provider.
Right.
In God's eyes
hmm
and in my eyes, God
Right.
set it up that way
hmm
from the beginning of time to even know. Right?
Right.
Then this whole feminist act jacked everything up.
Oh, hello. We are both feminists. I like, what do you mean? Well,
And
I identify as a feminist. I don't know about you.
big
Uh,
up whomever these feminists are, but
okay,
I
but
promise you,
elaborate a bit. Like, what do you think? Where did feminism mess things up for you specifically?
it made the men more feminine. They don't want to do anything for women anymore. They don't
Okay.
want to provide and protect a woman anymore. They're more aggressive and abusive. They are bitches. Sorry. They They
Okay.
want you to take them out on dates. They
hmm
want you to be the one to run after them. They want you to be the pursuer. Like,
hmm
what is wrong with these men? Men's asses are getting so fat. I saw a man's ass today.
Nothing is wrong with
Like
a
he
fat
got
ass,
he,
my girl. I
hey,
love fat asses.
hey,
I love them.
men are no longer masculine. Their bodies are not no longer masculine. They're more feminine.
I
Like
mean, what
these
does that
men
even
are
mean? What is masculine? What is
listen,
feminine? Gender is
for
a
a man.
construct. hmm
Okay. These men, like the masculine men that date women,
hmm
are claims that they date women, right?
Okay.
They are so feminine with it,
Okay.
right?
Nothing wrong with
You
that, I don't
claim that
think.
I personally, I cannot date a feminine man.
Fair.
I'm
That's fair.
such a feminine woman.
hmm
I'm in my feminine energy. I'm very calm. I'm very collected.
Right.
The way I carry myself, I
hmm
cannot date a feminine man. It's
hmm
not going to work.
All right, what are some traits you consider feminine?
Why do
For
you want me to
example.
pursue you? Like, why do you want me to pursue you? Why are
Okay.
you looking at me to pay for that bill?
Okay. Right. Okay. I see what you mean. I understand.
I
I
should
guess.
not be making the first move.
Mm-hmm. I see what you mean. Like, so you basically you want to be taken care of. You want to be provided for. You don't want to have to ask. You want them to,
I
take
should not have.
initiative.
If I have to ask, I'm leaving you.
Real. So real. Because, for me, it's like I love when someone can take initiative. Um,
Mhm.
my primary love language is quality time, but my second one is it's always a tie between acts of service and receiving gifts. But I do love when someone is able to do something for me that perhaps I'm unable to, you know?
Mhm.
But it's difficult because I'm of two minds. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, like I do believe in 50-50. I do believe in, mutually beneficial symbiotic relationships where it's like
Love you.
I do what I'm supposed to do, you do what you're supposed to do, whatever supposed to do means. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like my personality is very, I don't want to say juvenile, but very baby-like. I like to be babied.
Mhm.
I do like the idea of like being taken care of as well.
Mhm.
But whenever, for instance, like I remember being taken out on dates and like they would offer
Mhm.
to pay and I'd feel bad. I'd feel guilty. And it's
Yes, I
like
just guess so. Please.
real, real.
It's the
So,
bare minimum. It really
hmm,
is.
like
It's
I
what they're supposed to do.
I guess, I suppose. But for me, it's just like I felt so bad and guilty because in my head, I'm like, do I deserve this? Like, I don't know what that was about. I don't even know what that was about, but I'd feel so bad. But
Self love.
hmm?
Let's bring back self love, please.
Drag
She
me.
exit the room. She exit the room.
Drag me, drag me.
Why don't you think you're worth a dinner date? Why do
Ooh,
you not think you're worth them paying for a meal?
ooh.
Self-worth is a lot. Like, why are you feeling sorry?
Wow. I didn't know we're in a therapy session today, but
I'm so
go off,
sorry.
sis.
I'm so
No, but
sorry.
that's so real. That's so real because I do often, struggle with this idea of like, all right, for example, if I'm going out by myself and like I decide to go shopping, I'm like, what do I need? What do I want? What do I deserve? You know what I mean? And it's like, whenever I like splurge on something, I feel bad because I'm like, oh gosh, I could have used this money more responsibly, or I could have invested, I could have saved, but it's like, here I am, like
Yo.
spending like my paycheck on like CDs, which is like frivolous, but it brings me joy because I love collecting things. You know what I mean? But
Well, you have to put your self happiness first at
true.
sometimes.
I agree, especially in this economy, in this tumultuous time that we're in right now with like,
Majority of
everything
us can't buy houses. So what are we saving that for?
truly, honestly, like this, I, we are so screwed. And it's very disheartening to think about how, our parents were at our age were able to like, put a down payment on a house or, put a down payment on a car or invest in certain infrastructure that was able to provide for their children. Like we are struggling to do that now. And why do you think that is? Like, have you given much thought to why things are so challenging for our generation now? Is it that the jobs aren't paying us enough? Is it that the
Where
economy is just faltering? Is it inflation? Is it all of the above? Because for me, I don't know about you, but something that I'm always contended with is like being so sick and tired of being like exploited by these chicken shit jobs. Like these fucking call centers that I somehow always keep collecting like fucking Pokemon. Like why? Like you're being paid like peanuts, basically, like having these entitled customers like yell in your ear for the duration of your 8 hour shift. And it's just very annoying because it's like
it is.
yeah, you're being overworked and underpaid, where it's like, these companies come to Jamaica to exploit our labor because they know that they can pay us less than what they can pay us if we're working
Valid.
abroad.
Okay.
And it's just annoying.
So
So
my thought,
mhm.
sorry, on the
No,
entire thing here is
no,
um
don't be
they
sorry
hate
for
us.
anything. But
Firstly, they
mhm,
obviously hate us. The
mhm,
wealthy want to stay wealthy, and because the wealthy want to stay wealthy, the poor are
mhm,
going to stay poor.
right.
Right? They are not considerate with anybody, to anyone. They do not care.
Mhm,
So, um, the only way for majority of the poor to go up is to either marry up
mhm,
or they have to work their asses off, and sometimes it typically does fail
mhm.
because they don't have the connections that they do need to actually
Right.
build themselves up.
Networking. Like hypergamy is difficult because it's like, the wealthy tend to socialize within their network and
Yeah,
they marry within their network. So it's like
exactly.
it like even me myself, like I do sometimes fantasize about dating someone rich and marrying rich as well. But at the same time I have to understand that that like how would I even phrase it? That mm,
I'm marrying rich. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not a fantasy. It's gonna happen, sweetheart.
love it. I love that actually. And I don't know, it's just I love Pretty Woman. Like let's start there. I love Pretty Woman, the whole Julia Roberts fantasy of, marrying
Mhm.
Richard Gere. Like that's the dream, that's the goal. But it's like all these hoops and barriers that you have to jump through to even get to that point. It's just like, oh my God. Like you first of all, you have to put yourself in particular positions to even
Mhm.
be exposed to people in a particular tax bracket. You know what I mean? You have to look the part, you have to dress the part, and it costs money to look that good. You know what I mean? And it's a lot. It's like you have to pay to play almost. And so it's a lot to contend with. But I don't know. It's I don't know.
It's just a very depressing world, and
Hmm.
dating rich is hard, but it's not that hard. You just have to know where to go and
Hmm.
how to speak. I
Right.
promise you. Where to go, how to speak, how to dress, how to
Hmm.
carry yourself, how to, you know, like you have to behave like you are one of them for them to
Hmm.
believe that you're one of them.
Right.
And then you catch one of them, you marry them, and you never let them know you're poor. Yeah. You never
Um,
let them know.
good advice. Good advice. Never let them know you're at
Yeah.
war. I should really take that to heart. I should let that penetrate my subconscious. Like I really should absorb that.
Yeah. Never
But
let them know.
it's funny because that opens it up to a different discussion where it's like, is every relationship transactional? You know what I mean?
Yes,
Yes. Well, yes. Well, yes.
most
Absolutely.
definitely.
Like
Even if people are marrying for love,
hmm
the man in that relationship, he wants sex, companionship,
hmm
and somebody to cook for him.
real, real.
The woman in the relationship needs to be provided for. She wants a secure household. She wants somebody to protect her. So it's all
Right,
transactional. We're all dating for a reason. We're looking for something in someone.
right.
So it's
And there's
all
no
transactional.
no such thing as unconditional love. Like it's always tit for tat. And I don't know, it's kind of depressing to think about, but it is the reality of the situation. And that's why I have like a hard time accepting certain things where it's just like love can't always pay your bills. You have to be practical about it. You know what I mean? And
Love cannot pay them bills.
mm-mm,
Love can't fill your stomach when you're hungry. Love
mm-hmm,
can't keep you off the streets. Love can't pay
mm-hmm.
your rent. I'm so sorry. If I marry for money, I love money. I'm still marrying for love because
Right.
I love that money.
Rich nigga, eight figure, that's your type. That's your
That's
type, baby. That's your type.
my
Wait, so
type.
how do you define wealthy? Like, what's the difference between rich and wealthy?
Wealthy is you have the need for nothing.
Ooh, okay. And rich?
Rich is you're able to get it,
Mm-hmm.
but you will still lack certain things that you do want.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting. It's like,
yeah.
for me, it's like, I will put myself in debt to go after something I want. You know what I mean? And it's like, a lot of people say if you can't buy something more than two times, you can't afford it. But I don't think about it that way because in my head, I'm just like, oh gosh, like I can be having a bad day and I'm like, let me get myself something nice, something sweet, a little treat, something fun, something for the summertime, something for the girls to get ready and party to. So I'll just, I don't know. And maybe it's a form of self-harm, where it's like I'm having a bad day, let me just splurge all my money. You know what I mean? And it's like I look back and I feel good for all of 5 minutes. And then I'm look at how much money I spent and I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so it's like treat yourself, yeah. But at what point does treating yourself become financially irresponsible? You know what I mean? And
When you realize you're putting yourself in debt, Chico, can you stop that?
real, so real. I do need a financial advisor for real. Because to this day, I've yet to like actually pay off my student loans, but that's a different story for a different day. I'm just like going to close
Wow.
my eyes, pretend I don't see it. Like I just,
Damn.
but
The closing of eyes. I want someone to pay for my schooling, and
real.
believe me, that man,
Hmm. He
he's
exists.
going to pay for it. And
No,
he's not even going to know he's going to pay for it.
right.
I don't want him to know because I think once they know, they're going to be like, okay, I have this over your head.
Mm. And so they feel
So,
like they can exploit you and, do
yeah,
whatever
but
they
like,
want.
okay, I will pay for your school this term because you're not giving me what I want, or,
Right.
yeah.
That's how a lot of people end up in like scary situations because they're being held hostage because of money. You know what I mean? And they can't
Mhm.
leave because they're kind of obligated to or indebted to this person. So it's scary, to be honest. So how do you avoid those pitfalls? Like how do you know what to look out for in terms of like red flags with people who are probably wealthy but are able to take advantage of vulnerable people?
Arrogant, very arrogant.
Okay.
Um, this guy does give me a bit of a red flag.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the
Uh,
300,000 guy?
yeah.
All right, what red flags are you noticing so far?
So, he's spoiled.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. I can tell by the way he speaks. He says he always get what he wants, and
Oh.
no matter how, yeah, he always get what he
Mm-hmm.
wants. I'm wondering if he was born wealthy or he made himself wealthy.
Hmm. How did
Um,
you meet, if you don't mind my asking?
sure,
Asking for a friend.
it's a
That may or may not
very,
be me. Okay,
it's a
go ahead.
very tricky story. So I was at Devanos
Okay,
with my friends,
okay,
and I was meeting another one of my spooks, you know what I mean?
okay. Love that. You have to
So
keep them on the roster
you
and
have to keep
constant
them on the
rotation.
roster. No, not on constant rotation. I am
Mhm.
not having sex with this guy.
Love that.
But he's really obsessed with me for some reason. We've
As
been
he
on and
should
off for
be. As he should
two years.
be. How long?
Anyways, yeah, on and off for
What?
2 years, no sex. I don't know what's happening.
You're an icon, actually. Wait, before you continue, how do you know, keep someone waiting for so long and don't feel the need to put out? Because for me, it's like, as soon as someone pays me a compliment or is nice to me, I'm like, thank you, let's hook up, let's have sex. Like, I
Let's
just
bring
feel,
self-love in the room once again. She exited.
it's like, I just
Um,
feel like I have to like return the favor by
you don't owe anyone anything.
real, so real.
You don't owe anyone
Mm-hmm.
anything. People
Real.
do what they want to do. And I am the thing where, like, this guy, I'm telling him, I say to him, this relationship between me and you would not work out if we were to date.
Mm, why?
Seriously. We're very toxic. And I'm
Self-awareness, love
not
that.
going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I do like the toxicity here and there. However, in a
Bitch,
long-term
me too,
relationship,
the
it would not work. It would
fuck?
not work, right?
Right.
So I put him on the bench. Like I would block
Hmm.
him. He privates his number and he calls me like the true love of my life. But I know it would not work out. Anyways, he does pay bills here and
Hmm.
there. Um, I think man's in love with me, eh?
And
I told him, I keep telling him it would
yeah,
not work out. It would not
right.
work out.
To which you
Anyways, back to the $300,000 guy.
real. Oh, it's a different guy. This whole time I thought it was the same
Yes.
guy. Hilarious. Hilarious. Continue.
So, I was heading to Lebanon with my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and that guy that I talk about pay bills, Ray, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna call him Audie. We're
Okay.
gonna call him Audie.
Okay.
So he called me. He's the one that pays bills, love me off, nah
Mm-hmm.
leave, no matter what.
Right.
So he called me while I was on the way to Lebanon with my friends, and he goes, "Oh, where are you, Ray Ray?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm on my way to Lebanon." My friend that's driving goes, "Oh, is he coming?" I'm
Ooh.
like, "Is he coming?" Not really. He's like, "You don't want me to come?" Like, sure, you can pull up. So we go to Lebanon. This was before he comes. We go to Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there and everything. He calls me. He's like, "Oh, where are you guys parked or whatever?" So
Mm-hmm.
I'm stepping out of the car to see where he is, right? I step out the car and I hit my foot and I
What?
curse a sweet, nice bad word.
I know.
I said bumbleclot. So so at that same time, 300,000 was walking past and he
Mm-hmm.
stopped and I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry because I cursed a bad word. I'm gonna say sorry."
Of course.
He
Very
goes,
mindful, very demure.
"Hi, my name is 300,000." And I'm like, "Okay then." He goes, like, "I would really like to get to know you. You're very beautiful." I'm
Oh.
like, "Okay." My friend, the door was still open because my friends were like, "Oh, give him your number, girl. Give me your number, girl." I'm like, "Sure." So I give him my number. He goes on about his way. My friend saw the car. He drives a Porsche, by the way.
Ooh.
Red interior leather, gorgeous,
Oh my God.
beautiful car. I
Mm.
love cars, as I said earlier. It's a beautiful.
Real same. I'm a passenger princess. Down. Like I love riding in the passenger seat. Not gonna lie. But continue.
Actually, I like driving. Anyway, so
Okay.
he walks
Sorry.
off, and right after he walked off,
Mm.
I saw Audie literally walking towards me. I know he saw.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, "Oh," because I was in like a nice, like a sexy black maxi dress.
Okay.
Just got my nails done, my hair was
Right.
done. So, I know I was looking good.
Right.
He proceeds to say, "Oh, any man look at since night?" I go, "Yes, a man called 300,000." I'm not going to lie
Okay.
to him. I'm going to tell
Right.
him because I know he saw. He
Mm-hmm.
was looking for me to lie to him.
Right.
Anyways, but that's how I met 300,000.
Icon. Like I admire you, but also I'm slightly envious because like I do remember like a conversation once where you were telling me about like how this random guy gave you $20,000. Is that am I getting
10.
that
It was
right? And
10,000.
here am I overestimating, but still he could have if he wanted to. Like,
He really could.
tell me more. What happened? Remind me of that story, please.
So, I was that day, me and my sister went to buy her phone. Went to
Okay.
Half to
Hmm.
buy her phone. We went to the phone shop, bargained the phone down from what was it, 89 to 82.
Was
I
this an
got that shit
iPhone?
down. Yeah, it was an iPhone 12
Okay.
at the time. That time it was like one of the newest
Okay.
versions,
Right.
or close to the newest. So we got that phone down. Then we went to another phone store to see if we could get a case for it.
Hmm.
Um, while my sister is there looking through the cases and talking to the person to get the cases, a guy just, it was a very old man, I really should have taken his number because I would be okay right now. Anyways, he tapped my leg. He
Hmm.
tapped my leg and he just opened his wallet and goes, "Take it," and just went.
Wow.
He went.
Ugh, you're literally living my dream. You're living my dream because it's like my type tends to sway older. And like
Ah,
I do remember like one of my recent exes, like he wanted to visit me and so we dated long distance for like 9 months at that point. And
mhm,
he wanted to visit me because he's from New York and of
mhm,
course we're in Jamaica. So
mhm,
he literally booked a resort for us, a suite in a
mhm,
resort in Montego Bay. And we spent like a week. This was like around the time of my birthday in September. And we
Mm-hmm.
spent a fabulous week. Of course, all you can eat buffets included in the all-inclusive resort. But like, we went snorkeling, we went on a what's that, like the thing where you go on the boat, whatever that is.
I'm not sure,
Um,
but yeah.
it looks it's not really a yacht, but it looks like it, similar. Anyway,
Okay.
like we
Mm-hmm.
had a fabulous time. We had all these outings, like they had restaurants at the resort. It was gorgeous. He also, a couple months after that, booked an Airbnb in Kingston. And, he met my best friend, Nas. He met Nas's partner. And also another friend of mine, Latoya. Like, we all bonded and got to know each other. We played games. We had, like, a games night. And it was fabulous. And, the idea was, like, I would emigrate to the States after we like got married, yada yada. But it didn't work out because I broke up with him because in my head I'm like,
Why?
which is crazy. I One of my biggest regrets. Like for me, I'm like, I just felt like we weren't compatible, which is crazy because it's like at the time I was like 26 and he's like 58. So it's like, what was I expecting to have in common with someone who was like literally could be my
Hey,
father. You know what I mean? It's like I wanted to listen to like Charlie XCX. He wanted to listen to fucking Mozart. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like
hey, hey.
insane,
In
insane.
relationships like that, because I myself I love older men. In
Hmm.
relationships like that, you have to learn to love what they love.
Real. I feel
So,
awful for like letting. I feel like that's one of like the one that got away. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh,
yeah.
because I could be like freaking married right now. You know what I mean?
Overseas.
Taken care of. Not that that was what it was because
Mm-hmm.
he didn't like the idea of like being called a sugar daddy because it's not like he was like rolling in money, but he was comfortable. But I liked him for him, and he was smart and attractive to me. And it's funny, my friends often make fun of me for like being a white man's whore, and it's like it's not my fault, like that. I tend to date older white men. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. But I don't know. It's just
Where are you meeting them? Maybe I should cop my one of those. I guess.
online actually, believe it or not. And it's
Where online are you going?
different places, but I met my most recent exes on Reddit, believe it or not.
Hey.
I know I should give you some tips. But yeah, it's just I felt like we just weren't on the same page. We didn't like have the same interests, and it's just I don't know if that's
No.
like a silly thing to do to break up over
That
income.
is very silly to break up for.
I know, like, I don't know. And also, there's a part
Listen,
of me where it's just like I didn't want him to feel like this was like a marriage of convenience or a green card marriage or anything like that. But it's like he was
but
willing.
it,
He was willing to splurge, and I'm just like, you can
again,
pull.
where did self-love go?
I need a therapist for real.
You really do.
I
Listen,
really. Mm,
if the person has no issue with doing it for you, why are you having a problem for them?
I know. That's my thing. I create problems where there aren't any, and it's just toxic. So toxic. I hate that. I
Get
really do.
a grip
But
of yourself,
get a
please.
grip. Like, good God, girl, get a grip. Real. So
Oh
real.
my. Damn.
Because
You
it's
let
like,
the love of your life gone away. Are
I
you able to
mean,
reach out to him?
I
No?
blocked. I blocked. I blocked. I feel bad.
Get
I
a grip of yourself.
I
Oh my
know.
God, what do you mean? The man came down here,
Twice
spent so much time with you,
on
met
money.
your friends.
Hmm.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
I
he really
know. And
actually
it's
could
so
have
funny
been.
because like I actually wanted my parents to meet him at the time. Like I made arrangements for that. And my dad was like, yeah, sure, of course. I'm going to like I'm on my way. And like that time never came. Like he's always make excuses to not show up. And my mom was like, absolutely not. I don't want to meet him. And it's like, whatever. But yeah, it's like he was enmeshed in my life. Like he knew all my friends. Like I shared him all my interests with him. It's just like I said, I was just in my head. I was just like, this isn't working out. Crazy, crazy. Maybe I should reach out.
I think you should
I should. I really should.
apologize And if he says yes, he says yes. If he says no, then he just says no. What can you do?
What can we
You
do?
know, at least you tried.
At least I tried for real.
At least you tried. But
Also,
I think you should still reach out. He seems like a very sweet guy.
he really was. He still is. He really is. Um, Part of the reason why I regret ending things is because I had always planned on traveling to the States, especially after college. But then the pandemic happened, and during that time, my visa got expired. And so I had to wait until the pandemic ended to get it renewed at the embassy. But then I went, and then it got denied, not once, but twice. So I kind of felt trapped here for a bit. But then I met him, and then we're actually in the process of, filing the fiance visa. So that could be like a way to actually go to the States on a different type of visa. But me being me, I ended things and I kept myself all the time because it's like, ugh, what were you thinking? Anyway, it's whatever, moving on. Um, I just feel like God will provide and what's for me will be for me. Like, even though I'm somebody who, granted, always has to like hustle for what he has because like nobody like gave me like a silver platter with like anything on it. You know what I mean? I have to like if I want something, I have to save to get it, or I have to like do whatever it takes to get what I want. But for some reason, I always come into money. Like even if I'm like quote unquote broke, even though I don't really like using that word because I feel like broke is like a state of mind.
Yes,
But
it is.
even if I don't have money, I always come into money. Like God always provides. And it's like I'm
Yeah.
lucky like that. I'm very blessed like that. And I don't take that for granted at all. But I want to talk about like speaking of hustling, like well, how do you feel about hustle culture? Because for me, it's like I sometimes feel pressured to monetize like every hobby I have. Where it's just like, for instance, when it comes to like making music, it's just like this should sell, like what can I do to market this? But it's just like, no, I don't want to think about that because my brain is more creative than it is like business savvy. But it's like in this era that we're in right now, it's just like you have to like monetize everything you do for fun or for hobbies. And it's like do you think like hustle culture makes us feel guilty for having free time? Because I feel like, okay, if I'm not doing something, if I'm not being productive, I'm wasting time, I'm not making money. If I'm not grinding, I'm failing. Like, is that something you worry about?
Actually, no. I I'm really not worried at all.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to stop worrying about everything.
I love that. I
So
love that.
if something is to be done, God is gonna
Mm-hmm.
put it on my conscience. He's gonna put it on my mind. He's gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, I'm going to teach you to work a little bit harder on this, so you're gonna start doing this to put money
Mm-hmm.
towards this." So I'm not worried about anything.
I love
I
that.
understand the hustle culture.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica is a country of hustlers,
It
which
is.
is very sad. Nobody really has any stable income coming
Mm-hmm.
in. A hustler, it's very hard. It's
Mm-hmm.
not stable at all. It's not going to last very long.
Right.
Yes, sometimes it may turn into something great, but majority of the time it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
You can get like a little money off of it, but it's not necessarily going to be anything to really sustain you.
Right. It's very,
So
living
it's
hand
just
to mouth.
extra pocket change. It's like hand to mouth. So it really doesn't really do much for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. But I mean, when the minimum wage is like all people can, sustain themselves off of, or like, many jobs aren't hiring, or, as I mentioned, like the jobs that are hiring are exploiting you. It's like you don't really have a choice but to hustle or, to
Well,
do.
I understand if you don't have a
Mhm.
choice,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but I'm
I mean,
saying that let's say you're in a terrible job.
mm-hmm.
I promise you, I don't know how some people are having my salary and have two or three children on it.
Real, so real.
I'm still baffled and bamboozled every time I hear someone say I have three children and we're working the same money and my money is just for me
Mm-hmm.
and it's finished.
Real, exactly. Because it's like
I'm
we'll get paid, and it's
mm,
like by next week, it's like halfway done. And it's like, where did my money
halfway.
go? Where did my
I
money
got
go?
paid Friday and my paycheck is finished.
Hilarious.
I'm
Hilarious.
going to have to check Audie. I promise.
And I agree. I agree. Diva is a female version of a hustler. I love that
Yeah.
actually. I actually
So,
love that. But do you budget? Like, is that something you do? What's your
yes.
budgeting style?
As long as I have food in my house, I'm
Hmm.
good. That's
Great.
all I budget for.
Love that.
And if
And
I have
we're
food in
not
my
talking
house,
like instant ramen noodles or anything like that. We're
no, I
talking,
have
right?
like groceries. Like I
Right.
take lunch to work, so I don't budget for lunch. I budget
Mm-hmm.
for like food for like breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just prioritize getting stuff at downtown,
Right.
going to the market, stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, and even though I know the answer to this, I'm gonna ask anyway. Like, when a guy is taking you out on a date, how do you feel about going Dutch?
Are you going how?
Dutch, like the language? She's
I'm
like,
going
she's
Dutch.
like, I'm
As
sorry, I
in
don't know
like
her.
I
Never,
don't know her because who is that?
never met her a day in my life.
Actually, a man's going to pay
All the time.
24/7. If he doesn't, then and he's like, "Oh, are you not going to pay your half?" I'm going to laugh in his face, and I'm going to find somebody else there to pay for that half for me. I promise you.
You are an icon. You are
Thank you.
an icon. And
Thank
I've
you.
always admired women and femmes who are able to, for example, they know that their rent is due by X date and they message their man and they're like, hey babe, rent is due. And without hesitation, their partner like zells them or cash apps them or sends them money. And it's just like, oh, icon,
As a
icon.
matter of fact, I don't think I should be telling you. You know what time my rent is due,
Mm, love
right?
that. Hmm.
I shouldn't be telling you, "Hey, my rent's due," because Adi sends the money for my bills.
You're an
Once,
icon. Oh, please write
right?
a
He
book,
sends it
write a
on
book.
the first of the month every single month. Like
Wait,
today, I got my
so
check.
if he is paying your bills and stuff, where does your money go?
I love myself so much.
Hmm.
I shop a lot
As
on
you should.
clothing,
As you should.
and
And
I feel
honestly, you're
like,
always dressed to the nines. I can see that for you.
thank you. And
Hmm.
I mean, like, if I'm picking up, well, men are picking me up. They need
Hmm.
to see something great.
Right.
So I just
Like,
have to buy a great outfit.
I
Period.
love that. I love that. And
Yeah.
I love to shop as well, but it's like I'll spend my money on things that are like, I don't know. People would say they're frivolous. Like I said, the most recent thing I can think about is
CDs.
the CDs. I don't know. I just love supporting my favorite artists, and I love owning physical media, especially in this time where we're in, where it's like things can be removed off of streaming at a moment's
They
notice for
really
any reason.
could.
So it's
They
like
really could.
it's
Like
just
the
nice to
whole.
own things, but it's like
Mhm.
I I don't know. I just don't want to be like fall into the trap of like just having all these things in excess. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's like, is that something that you also do like when you're buying clothes? Like,
Um, Actually, right now, no.
mm-hmm.
I buy what I need. So majority of the time, I shop on Amazon. I shop
Okay,
things that I need.
right,
Um,
right. So do you have any advice for like young people our age who want tips on like financial literacy and investing? Like, what would you recommend to them? Because you seem to know a lot about like getting money and maintaining money. So if do you have
Getting
any?
money. I know
Mhm.
about getting money from men.
Run them
Period.
pockets.
Run your pocket.
Hmm.
Getting the money. You just have to be very charming. You know, you need to know how to not make them be in control.
Hmm.
Make them think that they're the one working you, but you're the actual one working them.
Right. You have them
They
like
have to,
whipped. Like,
yeah, you have to play mind games.
I
And it
don't know
sometimes does
about
take
that.
work. It
I
does
don't.
take work. Sometimes it depends on the man that you're talking to. Some
Hmm.
of them are a lot easy and calm about. Some of them don't even care. They're just willing to give. But
Right.
some of them you have to play mind games. And once I feel like I have to do too much, I'm leaving you the fuck alone.
Real. Honestly, I don't have time to play games. It's like even right now, I don't even know how many talking phases I haven't left in me. Where it's just like just talking, 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 mindless small talk. It's like. listen, get to the point. Like, I don't
You're
want
paying
to,
for my time.
like, it's too much. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like it's so much emotional labor. Like,
Mhm.
to, you know, carry conversations, engage in conversations, keep
I
yourself
don't
in,
talk to men.
you don't?
I really don't talk to them. They are the ones, if they want to talk, they call me. And they're like,
Okay.
hey, I haven't heard from you in this time. And I'm like, okay, I've been really busy.
Mhm.
I was going
Your
to call you just
goals.
now, but you called me. So I'm really glad that you called me. I'm so happy
Your
to hear from you.
goals.
How's everything been going? Like,
Mm.
how's your mom? How's everything? Like, you have to make them think that you're thinking of them.
Okay. Real.
Yes. And if a man is coming to pick you up or
Mm.
anything, always make him bring you something. You're training him to always carry something to you or
Ooh.
get you things. Just
Okay.
training that man. Just a little they're puppies, you know.
Okay. Elaborate. Training a
Oh,
man. Walk him
you
like
have
a
to train
dog.
them.
Hmm.
Walk him like a dog. So you train them to do small stuff for you. So like every time they go on the road or they're on their way to pick you up for something, be like, oh, could you carry me like a chewing gum or sweets or
Hmm.
candy? Some small stuff first, and then the stuff just slowly get bigger and bigger
Hmm.
until they're like always just carrying shit for you without you even asking.
Love that. Love. How did
Yeah.
you become so savvy? Like, was this something you were taught or something you had to learn through trial and error?
Trial and error and Shira 7. Big up
Mm.
Shira 7.
Oh my God, I watch her videos.
She's a doll.
It's so funny because I follow a lot of like Tumblr blogs who are all about hypergamy and building wealth and, attracting, a
Mm-hmm.
certain lifestyle. And my Pinterest mood boards are all about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I do watch videos like Shira 7 and I follow a lot of TikToks about that. But it's like, why am I not applying the lessons that all of these women are teaching me? It's
I
like
think
something's
you
not
should.
clicking. Something's not clicking. Like
The
I
thing is
really,
that
hmm
with you, I think you need to learn how to love yourself a little bit more first. Not shaming and a little bit more self-confidence. You may think you're confident,
hmm
right? You may try and portray yourself as confident,
hmm
but you may not look confident to everyone else around you.
Oh my God, drag me, girl. Read me like a book. But that's so real though. That's so real. Like
Once
I
you've
do.
realized that you're worth everything
Hmm
and nothing is too big for you
hmm
to get, love. Just love yourself. Always choose
mm
yourself first.
Real.
Always. You can love somebody, but you have to love yourself more.
Mm.
Love yourself more. Like Samantha in Carrie
Sex
in
and the
Sex and the
City.
City.
She's
She's
an
an
icon.
icon.
Love that woman so much. Kim
She's
Cattrall,
like,
diva.
yeah, she's like, I love you, but I love me more. She's not
More.
going to allow the love that she has for you to break her.
Hmm
Break the love that she has for herself. Never
I love
put
that.
someone first.
I love
Never.
that. And if you could give your younger self one piece of financial advice, what would that be?
Take man money. Don't give it a friend.
Listen, word to Corinthians, verse 6, chapter 9. Good pussy girl forget things.
Actually,
Honestly, like, don't fuck for free, for real, for real. Like, honestly, I wish I could just like turn back the hands of time and like like monopolize. Is that the right word? My whole like just
yeah,
just like hold off on my virginity for the longest period of time and just like sell it to the
really,
high. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
feel
that
that.
would I really like dropped the ball on that. I wish I could just like
Mm,
go back.
sell
Um,
it.
but definitely like that's a great piece of advice to be honest. Like and also like read the fine print always. Like
Yes, read
read the
into
fine
everything
print.
men say. Like
Read truly because I feel
they
like
would say,
mhm,
men will say some sly shit, and you'd be like, "Oh, he's just saying that." No,
mm-mm,
men mean everything they're saying. Men will run jokes with you to see if you're actually insecure within
mm-mm.
yourself.
And they can smell it. They can smell the insecurity
Yeah,
from a mile away. They can
Yeah,
smell it like
they
sharks.
really can.
Mm-mm.
So just always be confident in yourself and love yourself more than you could ever. Don't want a man. Don't feel
Mm,
like you need a man. Like
mm,
that's a big thing also.
real. So
Always
real.
be okay with being by yourself.
Hmm. Right. That's such like solid advice to be honest, because if you're not careful, like you'll find yourself trapped in like a bad marriage by
Yeah,
somebody
because
who's like,
you were looking. Don't look for love. Don't look for a man. Just leave everything in God's hands.
I
I
love that.
promise you, it will all work out.
I love that. That's just the perfect way to end today's episode because that's like I'm it's penetrating my subconscious and I'm just like I need it. Me personally, me, Tico, I needed to hear that. So thank you. So oh my God.
You're
Like
welcome.
thanks for like, talking to me about money. Thanks for like offering such sage advice. Thanks for sharing your experience. And thanks for reminding the people, the public, that you're not broke. You're just pre-rich.
You're
Period. And it's always a pleasure. And I look forward to talking to you on the next time.
and most definitely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So thanks for joining us on today's episode of 20 Somethings. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye. Mwah.